Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Indiana baseball drops another midweek matchup. We have the details on the loss.
And women's basketball heads into the postseason with a rival road win. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Madeline Denny.
And I'm Grace Lesher. Now, Madeline, we're into March, so you know what that means. The weather's starting to turn warmer, spring flowers, but you know what else that means?
Yes, spring means baseball season, and Indiana baseball fell to Northern Kentucky 13-11 at home at Bart Kaufman Field. Our Josh Pose has the recap.
Though it was another frustrating midweek loss for Indiana on Tuesday, it allowed sophomore TJ Schuyler to flex his muscle, further cementing himself into the lineup every day for Jeff Mercer in Indiana.
It's been a tremendous joy to watch him, as a guy that had a bunch of injuries early in his career and then fight his way through and get in there and really produce. But it's just, it's an aptitude to listen and learn. It's like a dogged determination to just do his job offensively.
Since he collected his first collegiate hit 2 weekends ago, walking off Northwestern in the 10th inning, the Antioch, Illinois native has been a mainstay in the Indiana lineup. And those reps are starting to pay off as Schuyler was once again fantastic on Tuesday, collecting 3 more RBI and scoring a run in Indiana's 13-11 loss to the Norse. The sophomore has reached base in each of his last 8 appearances, gaining confidence along the way.
I just feel like I need to see the first one go through, and since then I've been good. I've been getting in here, doing some early work. Mo and Z have been great with film review and just doing some field drills, so it's been a good year.
The batting average, which is north of 300, is not the only thing that the sophomore prides himself on. Schuyler has worked his way into the lineup because of his work behind the dish and has not gone unnoticed by his coach.
And then he's worked his butt off defensively. He's always had a really strong arm, throwing the ball really well. But he's had to really grind hard to become the level of receiver and blocker that he is. From his day one, his freshman year, to now, he's a totally different baseball player from a defensive standpoint.
As senior catcher Jake Stadler recovers from an illness and an injury, Jeff Mercer in Indiana may have to rely on Schuyler as the Hoosiers begin a quest to a Big Ten title this weekend in State College against Penn State. From Rainy Bart Kaufman Field, I'm Josh Pose, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers head up to State College this weekend to begin Big Ten play when they take on the Nittany Lions.
After falling to Maryland on senior night on Thursday, the women's basketball team took a short trip north to face Purdue for the second time this year. Our Zion Brown has more from West Lafayette.
Indiana women's basketball started March, the most important month of the season, with a W. The Hoosiers defeated Purdue 77-57 in West Lafayette on Sunday to complete a season sweep of the Boilers and win their 13th straight against their rivals. Sydney Parrish led Indiana with 20 points as the senior finishes her career undefeated against Purdue.
We all come into these big games wanting to beat Purdue, and they want to come in beating us. So we knew that they were going to step up to the occasion as well. But it's a lot of fun being from Indiana and just being able to say I'm undefeated against Purdue.
But I thought Sid was really aggressive, especially getting to the basket, and I thought she had some teammates also.
IU ends the regular season at 18-11 and 10-8 in Big Ten play, as the Hoosiers snap their 2-game losing streak with the win.
I just think there's been a lot of twists and turns to it, and I thought early that's what it was going to look like. I did think that we would level out at some point and maybe start trending and peaking, and once we started trending, I thought we would be consistent enough to stay there.
Indiana will now head to Indianapolis to begin play in the Big Ten tournament on Thursday. From Mackey Arena, I'm Zion Brown, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers avenged their January loss to Oregon on Thursday by taking down the Ducks in round 2 of the Big Ten tournament. IU will now get a second crack at number 2 USC at noon on Friday.
In a win and end game on Tuesday night in Eugene, IU was unable to go undefeated in the Pacific Northwest. The Hoosiers fell to Oregon 73-64, killing the Hoosiers' 3-game win streak. Indiana and Oregon tied 10 times over the 40 minutes, but a few late IU turnovers led to lots of Oregon free throws. The Ducks shot 21 times from the charity stripe and made 19 of them. Indiana, however, shot 7 from the charity stripe and made only 3. The Hoosiers were unable to match Oregon's physicality and are now in a make-or-break situation on Saturday.
We're playing for something, just like everybody else in the Big Ten. And we go home, we got a tough Ohio State team coming in, and we'll have 2 days to prepare and get ready for them.
The Hoosiers are one conference win from finishing 500 in the Big Ten. Ohio State, who pushed Indiana to overtime earlier in the season, stand in IU's way.
Softball competed in the Tiger Invitational this past weekend. The Hoosiers started strong with a 22-0 victory against Lafayette and an 8-2 victory against East Carolina. Things took a turn for the Hoosiers against Clemson. The Tigers had 3 single RBIs and a double RBI late to win 11-5. On Sunday, the Hoosiers faced the Tigers yet again. However, Clemson took the game 2 because of the 8-0 run rule, worsening the Hoosier record to 12-4. The Hoosiers will return to Bloomington this weekend for the Hoosier Classic.
Coming up after the break, we crown our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And women's tennis splits the weekend at home. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Now joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is our very own Darion Watson. Darion.
Thanks, guys. This week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week is junior Yarden Grzone of the women's basketball team. In the loss on Thursday against Maryland, Grzone passed Tyra Buss to become second in career three-pointers made in the Indiana jersey. In the second half against Purdue on Sunday, Grzone was able to knock down her 207th career triple, becoming Indiana women's basketball best three-point shooter. She passed Chris McGrade, who held the record since 1994 with 206 threes made. On top of breaking the record, Grzone was one of the 3 Hoosiers in double digits to help knock off Purdue for the second time this season, scoring 15 points, 10 of which came in the second half. She looks to continue to give the team a push and improve their resume for an NCAA tournament bid. That's all I have for this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week. Back to you guys.
Indiana football held its pro day on Tuesday, where various Hoosiers got to showcase themselves in front of NFL scouts and personnel. With the NFL Combine in Indianapolis last week, it was a quick turnaround for quarterback Curtis Rourke and defensive lineman C.J. West. West is turning heads in the offseason and really made some noise after running a 4.95 40-yard dash at the Combine. West is currently mocked as a Day 2 draft pick come late April after his impressive displays at the Shrine Bowl, the Combine, and most recently, Indiana's Pro Day.
Just going, putting my head down and working, just enjoying the time. It's a dream come true. All the stuff that I did is, things you dream about as a child. So I just kind of, continue to do that and just, not get too high on myself and just stay in the moment.
The NFL Draft takes place in Green Bay, Wisconsin from April 24th to April 26th as West looks to take his talents to the highest level.
Indiana's track and field team wrapped up their Big Ten Indoor Championships with 11 podium finishes and 3 medals. Coach Ed Bethea praised the men's team for seizing scoring opportunities, while the women's team gained valuable experience. CJ Martin and Veronica Hargrave placed 5th and 2nd in the men's and women's 600 meters. Traylee Banks Rose took 4th in the men's 200 meter, and Martin Sagrula set a personal best in the men's 3,000 meter. Both the men and women's 4x400 relay teams finished strong, with the men's team placing 5th and the women's 7th. The NCAA championships for the indoor track season will be in Virginia Beach, March 14th and 15th.
The Indiana women's tennis team split their weekend by beating the University of Illinois Chicago and losing to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Our Drew Furch has the recap.
Hoosiers were back in action this weekend, where they split their matches against the University of Illinois Chicago and Ohio State. And despite the win and loss, this season has shown much improvement as they have matched their winning total from last year.
Today was good. I was really pleased with our performance. Our biggest goal is, we've been really struggling with the doubles point in the last couple of matches. So we really wanted to focus on winning this doubles point going in. UIC is a very solid program, and we knew the doubles point was going to be important with our momentum going into singles.
Coach Moore's ability to turn around a program is nothing new to her, as when she was a mid-majors coach at Jackson State and McNeese State, she was able to turn both of those teams teams into conference champions.
But coaching at a mid-major most of my career, we're more than just coaches. I think at that point we kind of have to do it all. And I think that's the biggest lesson and also my biggest advantage of coming to, IU, which, has all the resources and possibilities to be great here.
Heading into Big Ten play, they feel they're ready to play against any elite program in the conference.
They're ready, I think. One of the biggest things I've told them, we've had matches that have kind of put us in a lot of adversity situations to prepare us for anything that comes our way. We felt sadness, we felt, happiness, we felt pressure. So there's nothing that we haven't felt on the court yet in these, our out-of-conference season that isn't going to, come into the Big Ten play.
The Hoosiers will travel east to play the Penn State Nittany Lions this Friday, which will start their slate of Big Ten matches. From Indiana University Tennis Center, I'm Drew Furch, IUSTV Sports.
The Hoosiers will be back in action this Friday as they travel east to take on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
IU men's golf had a tricky weekend down in Bluffton, South Carolina when they competed in the Colleton River Collegiate. A tough course led to worse scores across the whole field, which gave sophomore Cole Starnes a chance to piece together a special tournament, as despite the rest of the field lagging behind, the Fishers native surged to a 3-stroke lead after the first 2 rounds. Unfortunately, a poor third round meant he had to settle for third place, ultimately still a strong result. As a team, the Hoosiers struggled, only able to finish 10th in the tournament with a collective score of plus 31. The Hoosiers have another chance to put together a complete tournament when they travel to Statesboro, Georgia to compete in the Schenkel Collegiate.
Now joining us with this week's Candy Stripe Calendar Report is Dana Belmer. Dana?
Thanks, guys. It's another busy weekend for Indiana athletics, so let's dive into it. Mike Woodson and his team have a big one on Saturday as the Hoosiers host Ohio State, a game they need to help their tournament resume. Looking to win a Big Ten title, Indiana Wrestling will be in Evanston, Illinois to compete in the Big Ten Championships over the weekend. Men's baseball will travel to Penn State to kick off the first weekend series of conference play. Meanwhile, softball will stay here in Bloomington to face Western Michigan and UIC on Saturday, followed by Bowling Green on Sunday. Women's water polo is out in Los Angeles facing USC on Saturday and UCLA on Sunday. Lastly, men's tennis joins the Hoosiers in California facing USC at 3 p.m. That's all for the Candy Stripe calendar. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Dana. And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Madeline Denny.
And I'm Grace Lesher. We'll see you next week.